Hey guys, welcome back to Margot Watches Movies. My name's Jake Margot. Tonight we're talking the finale of The Terminalist Dark Wolf, starring Taylor Kitsch. In my review for last week's episode, the penultimate episode, I thought that we had the first stumble or letdown episode of the entire season. I'm happy to announce that with the last episode, not only have we bounced back, but I believe that this show delivered a almost perfect finale for the season, for the series, however you want to look at it. This does feel very standalone. I was very impressed by the restraint that was shown in this finale. I think the storytelling, the way they allow the plot to unfold, the choices they make regarding how last episode ends, picking up several months after the events of that episode, kind of reintroducing us to this new landscape of Ben being on the run, blamed for the stealing of the nuclear centrifuges, the bearings. Reese starting off the show with not with Reese. Yes, Chris Pratt is back in this episode, which I really enjoyed seeing him back on the screen. I love that character. I think it's Chris Pratt's best character besides maybe Star Lord or Andy, but I just think it's a different level to Chris Pratt. And on top of seeing Rafe reintroduced at a at Langley testifying against Haverford to his face, because Rafe is a G, not really being believed. They don't have the evidence, which I found a little bit. I think the CIA isn't dumb. They're very, very intelligent. It's in the name, right? And I do think that they had enough to where Haverford would have been a DMW, so to speak. But it's not enough for me to even be remotely disappointed by. That's the minorest of gripes. So we then see this very methodical and well calculated plan start to take shape and come to fruition. We see Ben talking with Tao, the remaining female Mossad agent. We see him reach out to Chris Pratt's Reese. We see baby Hemsworth, yes, the brother of Chris and Liam Hemsworth of Thor, and Gale from the Hunger Games is the mustached short guy from that's been on the team for most of the season. And of course, Mo all come together to strike a plan. People are killed, calls are made, traps are set. And where we pick up with Ben on this isolated farmland in Zurich, not Zurich, but somewhere in Germany, we see him start preparing for what appears to be a raid. He knows the trap that he's setting is going to draw many eyes and lots of attention. He's planting IEDs in the road. He's rolling out gas barrels. He's digging out trenches. He is in full survival gear, and he's utilizing all of his many skill sets when it comes to strategy and killing. And I really, really thought that the whole action set piece, once the trap's laid, once Haverford makes the call to take him out, and you see truckloads of, in the subtitles it says speaking Farsi, so it's Iranian special forces pulling up by the truckload, 6-7 men at a time, and you're just kind of like, well, I saw him in the first season, so how the hell does he get out of this, right? And on top of that, in his conversation with Tal, she said she needs 15 minutes. It's not quite clear what that's for, assuming to hack his files of some sort. It's never super made evident, or I just missed it. Correct me in the comments. Let me know if I just overlooked that. But it does utilize itself as a really nice device within the story to create this tension and this timeline, this ticking bomb within this scene where Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon kicks in as these guys roll up and the first truck hits the IED and explodes. And it's just this visceral, white-knuckled scene of one man, special ops, Rambo style, with a bit more authenticity in the way that the show shows him interacting with these troops, the steps and the strategies he's deploying to stay alive do come off as, with someone of his skill set and with his resources, maybe it's believable. I do believe in our troops, and I believe in American Special Forces, and I think we're better trained than anybody. I'm a red-blooded patriot. I'm happy to buy into seeing something like that a man could do what he does. Now, it gets to a point still where even a man of his talents is absolutely just being overrun by sheer volume and mass and numbers of these people. And as, again, Pink Floyd's playing, explosions are popping off, he's following his retreatal path into these wooded forests. He's now shot, bullets careening all around him. You're wondering, how does he get out of this? And in a moment that does seem a bit predictable, I guess, but it hit for me. It worked on every facet. Was Chris Pratt's Reese. It was almost a crowd cheering, crowd pleasing moment for me, where I wanted to clap from my couch. You see the plaid underneath the Kevlar come in, and Special Forces, the highest trained Special Forces members in the planet coming in. You just know instantaneously that the remaining Iranian soldiers are absolutely about to get yeeted on. And I loved it. I just thought, as the centerpiece, climactic portion of not only the episode, but the entire season, Reese's last stand, embracing his destiny, falling more into darkness, saved by the man that he eventually betrays in a later season. And I just thought that was really great stuff. And it's still hard to accept that he does commit the betrayal, because I think Taylor Kitsch has shaded in so many bits of layers to the character. His long live the brotherhood. A man who seems to piss, sleep, and sweat nothing but loyalty to his comrades. It's hard to imagine him doing the brutal betrayal he does in the first season. And I do think the show is also smart enough to not really hit us over the head with that throughout the whole season, because I really did expect this season to kind of showcase why he was willing to betray Reese beyond just a $20 million payday, which I guess for most people probably enough, huh? But in the show, instead of like, here's the moment, right? I don't know if you've ever seen the comments of everyone making jokes about Breaking Bad, like, this is where Heisenberg became Heisenberg. The show never goes that route of explicitly like shouting to you, the viewer, and going, here's the moment where he reached the point of no return. That's why you betrayed him. But you see these moments throughout the season of mercilessness, brutality, this hatred to authority and the people giving orders. Him embracing this morally gray life of agency work. It all kind of makes sense how he was able to go down that path, losing his wife by his own volition. And I think all of that builds to where, yes, I think they did enough with subtlety, which I respect in a show this bombastic with this many explosions, that they still had enough care to just very subtly layer in these little bits of characterization into the script. And that's one of the reasons I love this show so much, where last week I think it went a little too obvious. I think this week it pulled it back, still delivering this spectacle of an action set piece, and then having this very nice kind of roll down the mountain towards the conclusion. And Haverford being gamed by Ben, and even Ben within this season, even with all I just mentioned about showcasing how he would be able to betray Reese, he still gets a very nice character arc, a moment of growth, from starting off the pilot episode shooting the terrorist under the chin, getting himself kicked out of teams, to here where I was fully expecting him when he has Haverford's gun and breaks into Haverford's house that he was going to take the gun and, do what the CIA does best. Stage an unaliving. But instead, he throws legal documents out and says, I'm going to have you arrested. You're not getting the star. You're going to have your mind. You're going to have your regrets. You're going to have your guilt in a maximum security prison. He rides off as the cop sirens come in. A little mini trope there, but again, I liked it. And then we get the introduction of, I can't remember if he was in the first season. I feel like I'd recognize him, but it's the guy that played Master Chief in Halo. He's also in season 2 of The Wire, a show that Haverford also starred in. I love seeing Wire actors pop up. The greatest show of all time. Watch The Wire if you've never watched it. As someone who works for this division of the CIA, kind of contractors, which is where we pick up in the first season of The Terminalist, which takes place a few years after the events of this show. He joins them. He says, I belong here, and the season ends. Now, my one gripe I'm going to get into is kind of the toss away of Rafe Hastings, who to me was kind of the breakout character of this season, much like a lot of people considered Taylor Kitsch and his character of Ben to be a breakout character in season 1 of The Terminalist. I thought Tom Hooper's performance as Rafe was very riveting. I thought he was kind of the moral backbone, what you could have in a show about operatives. And I kind of hope he gets his own spinoff. Give me one on Rafe Hastings. I'll watch that show all day, Amazon. Make it happen. But he really just kind of disappears into the fray. He really doesn't get much character resolution. So that would be my gripe for this finale, and why it's not a perfect finale for me, but a near perfect finale. But still, with all that said, I'm only taking a point off for that. I'm giving this finale a 9 out of 10. I'm giving the season as a whole probably an 8.5, maybe a 9 out of 10. I'll have to rewatch it in a binge and see how it all flows. But the point is, I thought that this was a great season of television. I thought it was digestible. I thought it was there. Yeah, if you just want to enjoy this from a surface level spy action thriller, it's there. But if you want to look a little deeper, I think they layered it. Now you have your moments of dialogue and a few tropes and cliches. But overall, this is what I'm looking for in a TV show. Give me this. I love it. I'm a 30-year-old man. Why wouldn't I love a show like this? So that's all, man. What a ride. I'm sad it's over. I really enjoyed this show. And I hope that there's more done within the world of Terminalist, because we've got 2 fire seasons under our belt. And I'll give season 1 of the Terminalist a 9 out of 10 as well. I love that season. I just, both of these have been back-to-back bangers, as they say, absolute triumphs within a genre like this. So Jack Carr, the author, one of the co-showrunners, well done. I might have to read the books. Yeah, let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe if you like the review, guys. Growing channel. I appreciate all the help I can get. So let me know in the comments what you thought. Am I overhyping this? I don't think so, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. Other than that, guys, that's all for tonight. My name's Jake Margo with Margo Watches Movies. And as always, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.